Hey everyone, so to close this up, let's make a short description video. So let's start with getting to the trails, which is very easy, with Brenner being one of the major passes in the Alps. So there is a highway and a railway going through there. So with public transport, it's either a train or a Flixbus. Flixbus is a company, and there was a Flixbus going from Munich to Bolzano like every 3 hours. I arrived to the Brenner station by train. The buses are actually cheaper, but yeah, with the timetable the train was better for me at the time. So in Brenner station I transferred to a smaller local train because yeah, I arrived with like a big inner city train which didn't stop in the smaller villages and towns here. And then from there was like 10 minutes to Gossensass, where I started. There is also the Suedtirolmobil, a local bus company which operates in the area, which you can take a bus to more remote places. I'll get to that in the end of the video, because I actually used the bus at the end of my hike. So anyway, I arrived at Gossensass Monday at around 3 p.m. and from there I just went to the first hut, which was this one, Hühnerspielhütte or Rifugio Gallina. So this is a private hut. I believe the owner also has a hotel or something. Anyway, this hut was actually on booking.com, and for the standards of mountain huts it was actually pretty pricey. It was more in line with the price of I guess a 3-star hotel or something like that. It was the only hut around there, so no choice, and it was fine there. So you can get food. There is a communal sleeping space in the attic, and there was a warm shower, so it was good there. It's just much pricier than the later huts. I guess a little bit cheaper than a 3-star hotel would be in the area. So yeah, so from here I just took me like an hour and a half, just went up. It was I think 4 kilometers and about 800 meters of elevation gain. Oh, decent views. It was raining a bit, but nothing too bad. Anyway, so I just chilled there and slept, and then the next day I went straight up to the Amthorspitze here. You can see on my GPS, which is this one, the red line, that I didn't go on the trail. I just went straight up. I mean, this is just grassy slope, and it's not very steep, so you can just go straight. I think this is a little bit bigger of a path here, because there is this transmitter station. So I think they need a not so steep path there to get there with like some off-road vehicles. Anyway, so from here, from like 2600 meters, it was actually below freezing. I could see because I was in the clouds, and there was ice depositing everywhere, like on the rocks and on fences at the transmitter station. Not the best weather, but not the worst. I mean, it wasn't too much precipitation, so it was alright. And then from here, like shortly before Rollspitze, I guess, all the way to this pass, this was a bit of a scramble. I mean, that not all the time, but yeah, there was a lot of scrambling in there. So I think this should have been dotted on the map. But alright, then from here it was just nice big paths, and nothing really special here. But again, like from from above the Vildseespitze, I guess there is the lake, it was also a bit scrambly, and it was actually like a couple of kilometers, or maybe even more, like 3-4 kilometers of scrambling. So nothing difficult there, is just yeah, it takes a lot of energy. to Europahütte. This one was actually closed for the season because there was renovations going on. I actually initially wanted to sleep there, but yeah, it was closed. So I had to go further to the next hut. And from here to the next one is just 8 kilometers down on a pretty nice path. But yeah, this was already a pretty big day, so I would have really appreciated if the hut was open, but yeah, just my timing wasn't great there. Next season probably there'll be a new renovated one. I believe this one belongs to, or is part of the Alpenverein network. This one isn't private. But anyway, so from here 8 kilometers to this hut, Pfitscher-Joch-Haus. This is also a private hut. This one I didn't find anywhere how to book it online. I just had to write an email there, or I guess call, but I wrote an email because I don't speak German or Italian. So anyway, I was absolutely spent. The day was about 26 kilometers and 2,500 meters of elevation gain and 2,000 meters elevation loss, which is quite a big day, but it doesn't actually sound too terrible for me. But there was like maybe 7-8 kilometers of scrambling in there, so yeah, I was actually really spent. And also my backpack, when I started, it was about 12 kilos, I think, you know, with 4 or 5 days of food, because I actually didn't plan to eat much in the hut, and also with the water for the whole day, because yeah, I was just going on the ridge the whole day, so there was no water there. I arrived pretty spent, but still with like an hour of light left, so like 7:30, so I was able to get a good sleep there. So here it's actually more like a hostel, or perhaps even a hotel, because I believe they actually had private rooms even, but I slept in a communal room. But there was actually bed sheets there. I didn't even need a sleeping bag liner, which you usually use in the huts in the Alps, and I used on the previous hut as well. But anyway, it was very nice there. Also a bed, warm shower. I went off marked trails to do a bit of scrambling. So I started going this direction towards Rollspitze. Here there is actually a trail on the map, but it's not a marked trail, you know, it doesn't have the color. It wasn't very visible when to turn, but it was there. It just wasn't very well traveled, so a little bit of round finding there. Anyway, so just went here. I left my bag at around here, because I saw that I can get down on this steep grassy slope back to the valley, and that was quite a big shortcut actually. So I left the backpack here and I went up to Hochsteller, which yeah, it's not a marked trail, but there was actually a bit of a trail all the way here to this point. And then from here on the ridge it was scrambling. Not super difficult, but you know, it's a thin ridge, so you know, no mistakes allowed. Anyway, went up here. It was actually pretty good weather, so this was absolutely epic views from there. You know, we could see the lake and all these you know, glaciated mountains. It was very nice. Went back to the backpack, had some lunch, and yeah, then went down to the valley. This trail isn't very well traveled. I mean, it was kind of overgrowing, but still obvious there is a trail. And then from here it's a big trail, because it leads from the parking spot to Hochfeiler, which is a very popular peak. And so we are just down here, and up here there was nothing special there, to Hochfeiler hut, which is an Alpenverein hut. So I booked it online through the Alpenverein, hut network. So there is just a communal sleeping with your own sleeping bag liner, or you can borrow one, I guess. But yeah, why would you do that if you can have your own? And also there was possibility of food and a warm shower for an additional price. I believe it was €5. Well, the next hut also had possibility of warm shower, and one of the huts was €3 and the other was 5. I'm not sure, but it's not really important. After a long day, you just want to take a warm shower, so the price is nothing at that point. Anyway, so I arrived here earlier than the previous day. It was like 5:30, I think. And so this day was 21 kilometers, 2100 meters of elevation gain, and about 1600 meters of elevation loss. So the next day I just left a lot of my stuff in the hut and just went up Hochfeiler and back. It was about 2 hours to the summit, and then like an hour and a half back, including stops. It's really close, and there actually isn't even too much scrambling in there. Like, only thing I would consider scrambling was I think at around this part, like 100 meters. And then there is a snow field right below the peak, but yeah, there were steps in and it was nice snow, at least when I was there, so there's no issue there. Yeah, Hochfeiler, very popular peak, very easy, 3,500 meter peak. Pretty much everyone who isn't like terribly unfit can get up there, I think. Actually, if your goal is just go up Hochfeiler, it's better to do a day hike. And it doesn't even need to be a whole day hike if you are strong. Like, I think if I went from the parking spot all the way down here, going light, going fast in like 6 hours, so start at 6 a.m. here, go up and be back down in time for lunch, I guess. Or if you want to enjoy it, or if you don't want to just go so fast, I don't think you need to be especially fit actually to do this in a day. So yeah, so it was Hochfeiler. I was back down at the hut at like 10:30 a.m. And yeah, actually there was a dusting of snow pretty much the whole way up, which was the ideal amount of snow because it wasn't slowing me down, I think, at least not a lot. But it made things pretty, so I'm very happy with that. I didn't get the view from the summit because I was in a cloud, but yeah, I got some views on the way up and down, so still pretty nice. I did use, because of the snow, I did use my micro spikes. Not like crampons, but just little spikes against slipping, which you can put on any shoes. Actually, a lot of the people there just went in their normal shoes or boots, and yeah, I think it was definitely better to use the micro spikes, but it was even with the snow, it was possible to go up there without any gear. With the little bit of snow, I have to stress that out. Anyway, so then from the hut I went down here, and to the left on the 8A, there wasn't a trail here, but it was very well marked. I could see marks everywhere. It just isn't traveled at all, so it it was just overgrown, but yeah, it was very well marked. So, and actually very nice valley here. Yeah, and then I went to this pass, Gliederscharte, another pass, Kellerscharte, and another pass, Steinkarscharte, all the way here to the Brixner Hütte, which is also an Alpenverein hut. Pretty much the same story as on the previous one, so no issues there. I was there at like 6 p.m. You know, got a good sleep, got a warm shower. Yeah, so that day was 23 kilometers, 2000 meters elevation gain, and about 2400 meters elevation loss, because this hut is you know, at lower elevation than the previous one, of course. But 800 meters of elevation, you know, up and down Hochfeiler, and also there was about 6 kilometers from that day was kind of light, because I left most of my stuff I didn't need at the hut when I was going up Hochfeiler. Yeah, so anyway, the next day I started early at like 6:30. Actually, before breakfast. I had my breakfast on the way here, and that was because there was a bad weather forecast for the next day with a risk of storm in the afternoon. So I just went up a close peak and then down to the closest valley. Up here in the Rollspitze, there is no scrambling here, just there's a path. And yeah, up here I was at like 9 a.m. and then I went quickly down all the way to this village, Burgum. Actually, the storm came even earlier. I was at around here at like 1800 meters, so already below tree line when I had a break for lunch, and it started raining there, pretty heavy rain for like half an hour. It wasn't like a big storm, just a couple of thunders there, spread a few minutes apart. Well, anyway, so from here went back down, the weather actually cleared up, the rain passed. And here actually I had no idea about the buses at that point, so I was thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna go in the valley down to Sterzing, where I had a 3-star hotel for the next night. But yeah, I arrived at the bus stop, look at the schedule there. There was a QR code to download an app of the Suedtirolmobil, and I could buy a ticket just from the app and all. So yeah, I just used the bus. I think like every hour the bus was passing through there. So very, very good experience with the bus. And at like 1 p.m. I think I was in Sterzing already, so this was a very short day. Actually I had bigger plans for the day, but well, I can't control the weather, so yeah, what I planned to do was also go up this peak, the Rollspitze, but also but then go like this way and up here and go on the ridges all the way down to Sterzing. But yeah, had to cut it short here. Anyway, it was still really nice. Finally I saw some epic mountains again. I mean, the last time I saw any was in Peru, like a year ago, so it was about time. And altogether it was some 90 kilometers and 8200 meters elevation gain. And yeah, I had a great time.